Well, this is week 4 of our series on prayer, and that brings us to the final letter in our ACTS acronym, which stands for supplication. And this is probably the word that we're all least familiar with, but maybe we could start by thinking about it like this. What things have been weighing most heavily on your heart and mind over the past week? Another way of asking this question is, what has caused you to feel most anxious or worried? And the follow-up question to that is, how are you working through it? Maybe you try to distract yourself from it by busying yourself with other things. Maybe you vent about it to a friend or to your spouse. Maybe sometimes you even find yourself resorting to unhealthy habits that temporarily alleviate your anxiety, but that ultimately do more harm than good. Or maybe you just sit with your worries and your burdens and your cares, not knowing what to do with them. And if you know what any of that is like, then perhaps you'll find our memory verse for the week to be helpful. Philippians 4 verse 6 says that we don't have to be anxious about anything, but that in every situation, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, we can let our requests be made known to God. Supplication is when we, instead of distracting ourselves or venting to others or resorting to unhealthy habits in which we allow our anxiety to take control over us, instead, supplication is when we simply let our requests be made known to God. It is not so much a wish list that we send up to heaven where we ask for all the things that we want. Instead, it's the opening up of our heart before God. It's casting all our anxieties on Him. It's looking at the way things are compared to the way things could be and should be, and praying for God's kingdom to come and His will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Knowing that He loves us and listens to us, knowing that He cares about the desires and worries of our heart, and knowing that in every situation, He's working out what's best for you. That He's using your prayers to bring His plans into completion, even when that's difficult to see. And when we do that, when we let our requests be made known to God, verse 7 says that the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard our hearts and our minds in Christ Jesus. That doesn't mean that we'll never be anxious. That doesn't mean that there'll never be things that weigh heavy on us. But what it does mean is that we don't have to bear it ourselves, that we don't have to do it alone. So let go of your anxious thoughts and let your requests be made known to God.